Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Frantastic Friday on the Bitchuation Room podcast, live stream thing, show, situation. I hope nobody is watching me in HD if you are watching, because there is a piece of lunch that I cannot dislodge from my tooth. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Let's just talk about all the times we had something in our teeth and nobody said shh. Thank you for being here. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for tuning in the future into the ether. And let's just start off the show by telling you that if you want to see me live, I will be in Sacramento at the Punchline on March 16th with my husband, Matt Lieb. It's going to be so great. Get tickets for JessicaFiorentini.com. Zane the Magic Puffer Dragon is already here in the chat on YouTube saying, I had a great time at your live show on Wednesday. Thanks for everything you're doing on all your streams. And then, yes, we have 5 kids. Yes, because Matt picked on you, Zane. But thank you so much for coming out. It was very fun. And yes, man, thanks so much for upping your pledge on Patreon, guys. You guys can support this very small but mighty team. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Get access to the bonus episodes, discounts on merch, all the good things. Wednesday, we had a really good show. I mean, I broke down my Piers Morgan appearance, which I did make available to all. But I'm like, we talked basically about Elon Musk appearing with Donald Trump side by side in their interview. In addition to many other things, the anti-trans hate that is happening, which we'll get into a little bit today. There's so much to get into. And like, you guys ever have the mornings where your jaw hurts because you think you've been clenching it all night? I think I was just clenching my jaw all night because like we are in perpetual jaw clench mode. Before I dig in, one final plug. If you guys haven't been watching, and it's only available on YouTube, but if you haven't been watching America Unhinged on Zateo's YouTube channel, please do yourself a favor and tune into that. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. The last show we had with Ruth Ben-Ghiat, who studies authoritarians, was so enlightening and fascinating. We spoke all about, Trump, obviously, back to strong-arming President Zelensky of Ukraine, and spoke about how truly we are on this path to a Viktor Orban-esque illiberal democracy, as Viktor Orban very proudly embraces. So no rights, very few civil rights, but under the guise of being democratic, sham elections and whatnot. And I think we are also on the quick path to a kleptocracy, right? I think that when you see the Elon Musk's, the, David Sachs's, the Sam Altman's, to say nothing of the Jeff Bezos's and the Mark Zuckerberg's, these billionaire, these billionaires orbiting the Trump administration, waiting to, I don't know, be the one to get the private postal service contract, as Donald Trump is now attempting to dismantle the postal service. You understand that actually where we are headed is much more towards, yes, the kakistocracy, the rule of the stupid, but also the kleptocracy, the rule of the rich and the criminal, right? The people who are just stealing from our hard work, our taxes, and then funneling it to their friends and their billionaire donors. And that is self-fulfilling, right? That just, and it relies on the fact that we won't say anything, that we won't stand up, that we won't push back. And I did want to share, as we start, something that I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of. Not just obviously people in the streets, not just obviously, people calling their congresspeople, which everyone needs to be doing, but also those town halls. Remember ye old town hall back in 2017 when Trump was very excitedly trying to obliterate the ACA. Well, now we've got our own version, and Republican voters freaked out at everyone because they were like, no, the ACA is the reason I have health care. Now we've got the 2025 version of that. A town hall in Representative Rich McCormick's district. Rich McCormick is a Republican. He's a Republican in Georgia. And here he is at a town hall, and it is packed, and people are mad.
Will be lost forever and tyranny will rise. I believe you know the rest of his speech. Something about give me liberty. It's clear from all the writings of our founding fathers that our great republic was never meant to be ruled by a dictator nor a king. Imagine my shock and pure horror when I woke up to find that our president had given himself unprecedented executive powers and then within a few days named himself king to his followers.
Now, if you're listening, this is a predominantly white crowd, and she's got a southern drawl, and she is just laying it on real thick. The president is proclaiming himself king, and the audience is fired up, and it is incredible to witness. And again, we're going to be seeing a lot more of this. Wait. We know Rich McCormick. Rich McCormick is the guy who just a few weeks ago was saying that children need to get jobs and that he worked all throughout high school or whatever. Maybe he worked a summer. Okay, it was like a week. All right, fine. It was like a few hours in his father's law office in the afternoon. The point is that he was on CNN scolding Americans about how kids these days just need to learn the value of a dollar. And so we remember that CNN appearance. I'll find it and play it for a second. When it talks about like breakfast and lunch. All right. So let me just remind y'all who Rich McCormick is. Let's just go back and remember who he is.
Look, I mean, that is a valid goal, right? To save money and be more efficient, right? But the bottom line is, right now with this freeze, vulnerable populations could be directly impacted. And so my question to you, just to follow up with you, would you support getting rid of, school lunch for vulnerable kids and breakfast and Head Start, for example, and getting rid of childhood cancer research? Do you support that? And what do you say to your constituents? I want to follow up on that question too, because I didn't hear an answer from you.
Sure. So I'm an ER doc, and I know that philanthropy is where you get most of your money for childhood cancer research, for example. And it's not just you look at what the president just proposed, a $500 billion spending bill on AI to produce cancer early detection in the first stage.
Shut up. Enough with the AI.
On most body parts. That's his spending bill where he wants to increase cancer research. So it's just about what part of the money it comes out of. When you talk about school lunches, hey, I worked my way through high school. I don't know about you, but I worked since I was, before I was even 13 years old. I was picking berries in the field before we had child labor laws that precluded that. I was a paper boy. And when I was in high school, I worked my entire way through. You're telling me that kids who stay at home instead of going to work at Burger King, McDonald's during the summer, should stay at home and get their free lunch instead of going to work? I think we need to have a top-down review.
Okay, so that's Rich McCormick saying we need a top-down review, and that's a couple weeks ago, and that was just him, freelancing, whatever, and that's before the rubber hit the road with even more cuts, and now promised cuts to Medicaid and to Medicare, right? So this is his town hall. I don't know. I mean, he was in Doral during that interview at CNN. I don't know who told him to go home, but go back to Florida, buddy.
Tyranny.
Do you have a question for the guy?
I do. Thank you. Tyranny is rising in the White House, and a man has declared himself our king. So I would like to know, rather, the people would like to know what you, Congressman, and your fellow congressmen are going to do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House.
I mean, damn, what are you gonna do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House? Standing ovation for this woman saying, what are you gonna do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House who just declared himself king? It's not looking so good. Don't go home if you're a Republican. And this is the other thing. I think there's a lot of people in Republican states, and if you're hearing my voice, know this. Your elected officials, even if they've pledged fealty to Donald Trump, are still at risk. They are trying to watch their asses. There is a very slim majority in Congress. That's in part why Donald Trump is doing everything by executive order. And a lot of people I've heard are like, "Oh, my congressperson, is hopeless, or I live in a red state, so it doesn't matter." No. It matters even more that you call in. It matters that you are haranguing them, right? Because they're the ones who are in the wrong. They're the ones who are greenlighting Elon Musk and Donald Trump. They're the ones who are going along with this, right? It's like, I mean, we in blue states have our work cut out for us as well. We need far better Democrats to actually fight what is happening. But in terms of you guys, you have a lot of leeway. So I would just say, just keep the pressure on. Find out about your local events and any kind of town hall or any, because this is what's going to happen. They're going to stop going out in public. They're going to stop doing these events. The lesson for them in 2017 wasn't, like maybe change the policy, although they did, thanks to the late great John McCain, who did the one great thing, which was making sure that the ACA remained. They did back away from that proposal, but their lesson is also, well, don't talk to the people anymore. Kirsten Sinema's lesson, never talk to the people, never listen to your constituents. So they have to harangue you in the bathroom, which I am all for. Okay. I'm not above that. I think it's great. If you are an elected official who's not responding to your constituents, yeah, you cannot pee in peace. I want to get to a couple of different things. We're going to talk about Elon's, baby mamas, because oh boy, but I did want to, because this is really the gesture of the week, is it not? Is it the gesture maybe of the year? The gestures of the it's kind of the gesture of 1940s. It's kind of a throwback, if you will. But somehow CPAC is still happening. The Conservative Political Action Committee, like, conference, and you're like, don't you guys have work to do? Don't you have billionaire money to launder into duping the American people? Steve Bannon is out here, still unable to wear a suit. There he is, and he is speaking to CPAC. And granted, let's remember at the end of the day, Steve Bannon might not like Elon Musk, but he's not about to stick his neck out, right? And in fact, he likes Elon so little, or ostensibly so little. I think it's just because he's sad that he's not inside of the White House and Elon is. But he's not going to let Elon have the monopoly on white power salutes, on white nationalist salutes, on Roman salutes, nay, on Sig Heils. Why would Elon just have the monopoly on this? Bannon's going to do it, and he's going to show you that he does it just casually, but he makes sure to do the Roman salute. He doesn't need to overperform it. He doesn't need to, make a grunting sound. This is just how he wakes up. Because at the end of the day, they're all still racist. They're all still Nazis. And so I swear to God, anyone trying to excuse this is so, like, I love your world. I love the world in which you live, where you cannot believe that, yes, American fascism is on the rise. I mean, obviously, unless that is your business model, is going into denying it. But this is what it is, y'all. This is what it is. This is, which side are you on? Are you on the side of the oligarchs? Are you on the side of the Nazis? Or are you on the side of the people? And are you on the side of, like, everyone having human rights? You know what I'm saying? Slavery was a bad thing, Here he is ending his address.
The only way that they win is we retreat, and we're not going to retreat. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to quit. Fight, fight, fight. Amen.
Okay. He's not even leaving. He's not saying goodbye. That's not a goodbye and I'm leaving. That's not a like thank you to the crowd, hand up a little bit high. Here's what I'll say about the Roman salute. Laura Ingraham threw one up, I believe at the RNC or a CPAC. I do think Ingraham was mistaken. She just had it was a bad angle. The Ingraham angle was a unfortunate angle. She didn't mind it, obviously. That's just what she says in private. This was absolutely on purpose a gesture. Then he nodded. He was like, yup. And as he got an applause, let's watch it again.
The only way that they win is we retreat, and we're not going to retreat.
You already won. You won. You won the White House. You won the Senate. You won Congress. What do you mean? Like this again? And this is the other thing. Like, you want to make fun of this. I want to make fun of it. But also, when do you see Democrats win these super majorities and then continue to campaign as if they're, aggressed? I would argue it's actually kind of a good strategy to keep on campaigning. We all know now they're floating Trump to stay in for more than 4 years, which honestly, I don't even think we're going to get to 2028. If I'm being completely honest with you, that's very, very optimistic. But yeah, so they're like fighting as if they didn't just win the election.
We're not going to surrender. We're not going to quit. Fight, fight, fight.
See, here's what I love about this Roman salute. It's super cash. It's super cash and super like, I do this all the time. Like, I don't need a lot of showmanship. I do this all the time. We do it in our meetings. We're chill. Me and Richard Spencer and all the other, all the Proud Boys and the 3%ers and other anti-government white Nazi militias. Like, we do this. It's okay. We're cash about it. We casually throw up the Roman salute. Like that was a gesture of someone who just they've been around this Sig Heil, right? They've been around that. That ain't nothing to a Nazi like me. And now that I've said that word a million times, please send a super chat in, because you know how YouTube is demonetizing anybody who actually calls things for what it is. Or become a patron, patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. What do you want from me? And look, don't take it from me. I'm just a crazy lefty. What do I know? But take it from, I don't know, a far-right organization, specifically of France's National Rally Party. France's National Rally Party, their speaker, Jordan Bardella, dropped out of CPAC after Bannon did the Sig Heil. Let's read more about him. Jordan Bardella, leader of France's National Rally Party, canceled his appearance after Steve Bannon made an apparent Nazi salute during his speech. The president of France's leading far-right parties canceled his appearance at a right-wing conference. National Rally leader Jordan Bardella was due to speak at CPAC. However, he announced he was withdrawing after the former advisor, far-right ideologue, and pardoned felon Steve Bannon ended his speech with the words "fight, fight, fight" and extended his right arm upward in what appeared to be a Hitler salute. Bardella had been due to address the conference on links between the U.S. and France and the momentum he gained behind patriotic parties in Europe, but in a statement issued on Friday, explicitly identified the reason for his decision to pull out of the event. Quote, "At the podium yesterday, when I was not present in the room, one of the speakers provocatively made a gesture referring to Nazi ideology," he explained, saying that he pulled out immediately after Bannon's actions were brought to his attention. Bardella and Marine Le Pen, who heads the National Rally, in French Parliament, have previously celebrated U.S. President Donald Trump's return to power. Earlier this month, Le Pen spoke at Make Europe Great Again, a conference organized by the Spanish far-right party Vox, where she said that a wave of Trump-style politics was sweeping through Europe. Le Pen said the election of Donald Trump cannot be analyzed solely as a simple changeover in a democratic country, not even as a patriotic awakening of the nation that was rightly dismiss the forces of decline. We are facing a truly global tipping point. Yeah, we are. We are definitely facing a global tipping point, but you guys are going to lose. Watch, you're going to lose. And look, if it were Marine Le Pen who was scheduled to speak, do you think she would have canceled? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know who this Bardella guy is, but good on you. So I'm not the only one who saw that as a definite Heil Hitler. That's the leader of a far-right, anti-immigrant, anti-gay, all kinds of globalist ideology, whatever the hell you think that is. Like, Marine Le Pen, like, this is a fascist party. This is a very fascist party. But there are lines in Europe. You can't cross that one particular line. You can say all of the things, but like doing the gestures feels a little too close to home. Anyway, because I can't go an episode without just briefly touching on Javier Milei, who I guess was escaping his own scandal in his country of Argentina to go to CPAC and give Elon Musk a chainsaw. So here is that moment. Now, the chainsaw for Milei is a symbol of cutting all federal spending, all federal money to education, to public sector workers, and effectively everything that Elon Musk is doing now to American public sector workers. Oh, God.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
Chainsaw! Chainsaw for bureaucracy! Chainsaw! Oh, thank you. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm sorry to do this, but this is giving big lightsaber vibes right here. No disrespect to those of you who like to dress up, but goddamn.
Bureaucracy. Chainsaw.
Can you believe women let that dude come inside them? Oh, wait, they don't. We'll talk about that in a second. There he is. Chainsaw of bureaucracy. Hey, what about your government contracts, Elon? What about that? What about corporate welfare? Any of that going on? You too high on ketamine to understand this? Meanwhile, whoever this dude is who's hosting it is like, this is so whack. This is like the third cringe thing that Elon has done. But apparently when we point out that Elon is cringe, he likes it. He likes to be memed. Like, he enjoyed the jump that revealed his 50-year-old midriff and his ill-fitting shirts. How are you going to have all the money in the world and you can't get a fitting shirt? I'm sorry. But maybe that's a good intro to what I kind of want to talk about, which is the fact that Elon Musk apparently is abdicating his duty as a dad. This is some guy, this is a guy who likes to bring his semen, or at least offer his semen to whomever would take it. This is something that we talked about a few months ago, that Elon regularly offers his sperm because he somehow thinks that guy, chainsaw, rah, he thinks that he is special, that this is good seed, right? That he saluting, hailing Hitler, speaking to the far-right German AfD party, leeching off of other people's accomplishments and work by making a couple of good buys and investments, tanking your own workforce, skirting labor laws, implanting microchips into the brains of chimpanzees who have perished and live in incredible, excruciating amount of pain because of it. Having failed rocket launches to try to get to Mars. Like, this is the guy. He's like, I need to procreate. He is what they call a proto-natalist. I just call it a creep. and he has 13 children that we know of. And we learned of one just recently. I talked about it on the bonus episode, had by Ashley St. Clair, who is a far right influencer who I have had the opportunity to debate. I don't know. She really wasn't bringing much to the table. I'm gonna be honest with you. She was kind of a zero on that. So I maybe being Elon's baby mama is an upgrade, and I say that with the full disdain. However, you're not going to catch me necessarily siding with Elon over this. Yesterday, in a since deleted Twitter post, Grimes, the singer who was formerly with Elon Musk and has, I believe, 2 or 3 children with him, we'll get into specifics, in fact, is the mother of the child that was in the Oval Office whispering at Trump, "You're going to shut your mouth. You shut your little mouth." Trump versus children. See, the one silver lining about Trump being back in office is we get the Trump versus children, like, sort of investigative case. Like, we can continue on this path of like how much Trump hates children and children hate Trump. There's like a thread of all the photos. And look, yes, he dropped a lot of drones. Yes, he expanded the war in Afghanistan and deported more people than anybody else. But Obama did like kids. Obama was very cute with kids. There's a very cute thread with Obama and children if you ever want something to uplift you or remind you of a leader who was actually worth their salt. Donald Trump does not like children, and it's very funny, and I'm excited for all the long threads about it. Grimes tweeted at Elon and said, "Please respond about our child's medical crisis. I'm sorry to do this publicly, but it is no longer acceptable to ignore this situation. This requires immediate attention. If you don't want to talk to me, can you please designate or hire someone who can so we can move forward on solving this? This is urgent, Elon." Alpha male says what? Strong guy, strong dad who takes care of business, pro-family man, does what? Is ignoring the mother of his children, specifically about a medical crisis that one of his children is having. Now he's got better things to do. He's wielding chainsaws at CPAC, Grimes. Calm down, okay? All this uppityness. It's not like there's a medical emergency. Oh, there's a medical emergency? Blah. So is gutting the Department of Education. So is selling the postal department and the postal service. I mean, this is real scumbag shit. And that's the thing. These people aren't real men. They're not real leaders. They're not real inventors. They're not real innovators. They are scumbags, and they relish in being scumbags. That's the point. They believe that actually being a strong man is being a scumbag, the ability to be a scumbag, the ability to allegedly sexually assault a woman in a hotel who was responsible for getting you safely to your hotel room while she was in the same building as her husband and her child, in the case of Pete Hegseth, right? And then buying her silence. That is apparently what masculinity means. Masculinity, and we are living not only in the backlash of the Black Lives Matter movement, not only in the backlash more broadly of the civil rights movement and all the ways that the anti-DEI or the anti-woke agenda really is about resegregation. It is about stopping people from being uppity and having and advocating for their own rights and having any kind of position of power. But it is also a backlash to the Me Too movement, right? That's what it's about. This is a backlash to ever being held accountable for being just an out-and-out scumbag. But that's not all. There was more. That wasn't the only thing that Grimes revealed. There was more, and so I've got them in screenshots. She also says, "I'm not giving any details, but he won't respond to text calls or emails and has skipped every meeting, and our child will suffer lifelong impairment if he doesn't respond ASAP. So I need him to fucking respond, and if I have to apply public pressure, then I guess that's where we're at." I mean, it's good. Oh, it's juicy. It's real juicy. Like I say, keep going. Keep going, Grimes. Although since she deleted all of these, I'm like, maybe she got an answer. Maybe he DM'd her back. That's fun. It's fun to have to DM the father of your children to pay attention to you or tweet at them. This is how I feel literally sometimes with Matt, where I'm like, am I gonna have to tweet at you, Matt, for you to like respond to me? I'm in the kitchen. Come on, I've been screaming your name. I know you got your AirPods in. I'm gonna tweet at you. In fact, I have an alert on my phone for Matt's tweets, so I know what he's tweeting when I'm like actually trying to have a conversation with him. So honestly, me and Grimes, we're in the same boat. But wait, there's more. In a since deleted post, of course, once again. Newly minted baby mama, Ashley St. Clair, who I mentioned earlier. This was 6 days ago. Responded to Elon, after Elon responded, whoa. Says, Elon, we've been trying to communicate for the past several days and you have not responded. When are you going to reply to us instead of publicly responding to smears from an individual who just posted photos of me in underwear at 15 years old? What? Excuse me? So that's, again, the mother of a 5-month-old child who says that Elon's a daddy. Elon has not confirmed that. That's Ashley St. Clair. And it's a really interesting moment, right? Because she does, I mean, look at her Twitter. All she's doing out here is fighting the trans and supporting all the cuts to our social safety net. She's super excited about ripping away Social Security and Medicare from your grandmother and, saying that when I was on a panel with her, she talked about why men need to be strong and we need men's rights. So listen, my girl, you are invested in scumbag patriarchy, okay? It's not regular patriarchy, it's scumbag patriarchy. So you out here running your mouth about how we need to protect men and what's wrong with men being men, and understand that is all smoke and mirrors for scumbags. And now you have to tweet at the father of your child to get him to answer your calls. So don't come looking to anybody else or any actual feminist for solidarity. This is why we fight for feminism. This is why we say Me Too. This is why we speak out. I'll talk about Megyn Kelly in a second, but this is why these right-wing women, it's like, when are you going to make the break? When are you going to make a break with them? And they don't. And you know who else doesn't? Is Tomi Lahren is a perfect example, because Tomi Lahren believes in choice, right? She doesn't believe in restricting the right to an abortion. She believes in choice. And she was reamed for that. But she still like hates trans people, and she still like hates black people. And she is too chicken shit to stand on her word and her principles and for human rights because she wants a paycheck. So keep on doing your bidding. Keep on having Elon's babies, okay? Break off into your own party. We call it the Liz Cheney party. But it's very funny that you're putting all of your dirty laundry out there on X. And when I said that women may or may not let him come inside, it's because most of these children have been conceived via IVF. Now, there's nothing wrong with IVF, but would you let Elon inside of you? Exactly. It's like, I understand nobody like wanting to use birth control with Mick Jagger. I get it. Yes, he's very old now, but like, I understand that dude's got so many kids. Or Bob Marley. Bob Marley, how many kids? Didn't he have like 17 kids? Bob Marley, I'm like, okay, but it's Bob. You know what I mean? It's Bob Marley. Like, he's going to have to pull out, Bob Marley pull out game week is all I'm trying to say. This is what you get. Welcome to the Bitchuation Room. Bob Marley pull out game week. But you can understand that. But like, then you have Elon. And the only reason people want to have Elon's kid is, number one, because they believe in his Cybertruck fascist agenda. And number two, because he's the richest man in the world. And maybe they can get some of that money. And honestly, if you're Ashley St. Clair and you really have very little to offer this world, maybe an upgrade. I'm not about here. I'm not out here to knock anybody for, for at least trying. So this is from Vanity Fair. They were like, you know what? Let's keep track. Elon Musk's 13 children and their mothers that we know of. I don't want to read all of them, but his first wife, Nevada, he was married in the year 2000. In an essay from Marie Claire Wilson, this is his ex-wife, Justine. Sorry, his kid is Nevada, or was Nevada. Tragically died. But his ex-wife, Justine, in an essay from Marie Claire, she wrote that as they danced at their wedding, Musk told her, quote, "I am the alpha in the relationship." Cool story. Keep dancing. That's so romantic. I am the alpha? Okay. Here's telltale sign of an alpha. When you say I'm an alpha. What does that mean? I reserve the right to hit you. I reserve the right to rape you. What does that mean? I am the alpha. You can't drive a car unless I say. You can't go anywhere or meet with anyone or talk to anyone unless I say. You can't have male friends. You have to administer medicine to our dogs, even though you're 8 months pregnant with twins, and it could pose a risk to you or the children. Hello, Steven Crowder. What does that mean? I'm the alpha. Big man, big strong man. That's right. This bitch can't kill a spider. Let's be real. Elon does not kill spiders. They had a baby boy named Nevada who died of complications from sudden infant death syndrome at 10 weeks old, which is awful. After that, however, she did undergo IVF. In April 2004, she gave birth to twins. And again, one of them is trans. Changed her legal name to Vivian Jenna Wilson, taking her mother's maiden name. And again, we love Vivian. We stan Vivian, who says that she doesn't want anything to do with her biological father. And of course, Musk has written on X that his child was born gay and slightly autistic, and basically says that she's dead. Then there are Kai, Saxon, and Damien, conceived via IVF, were born in January 2006. Details about the three boys have been kept private, though Walter Isaacson wrote a biography of Musk that Damien had become a vegetarian at age 8. Now, the mother is also Justine Wilson, so that's 3, 4, 5 kids basically with Justine. 2006. She hung on for a while. May 2020. Oh boy. XAEA-12. That's child abuse. You can't name, and let me tell you where everything comes from. But that is the kid, X, who was in the Oval Office with Donald Trump telling him to shut his mouth. Oh my God, my jaw really hurts. What do I do? Stop talking. I can't. They conceived a XAEA-12 via IVF. Why do we need to conceive via IVF? Are we shooting blanks here? What's going on? What's happening? I mean, I'm not dissing it, but wouldn't a real alpha? Again, nobody actually wants him inside of them. Let's see. Grimes wrote on Instagram that her eldest son's name was pronounced X, just like the letter, and then AI, like how you said the letter A and then I. Musk had another answer, though. He agreed that X is what the child is typically still called now, is pronounced like the letter. However, he said in the Joe Rogan Experience that the AE is pronounced Ash, X-Ash. And this is my favorite part. The last part of the child's name, A-12, is named after CIA's Lockheed A-12 spy plane, which Elon Musk called the coolest plane ever. So many civilians have been targeted by the A-12. Then you've got by a woman named Siobhan Zillis, Strider, and Azure. She was at Neuralink. Again, they tortured chimpanzees together, and apparently that gets you really horny. we're not sure whether they were conceived via IVF or not. Then there's another 2021. So what? 2000, we got 2020 here. 2021 Strider and Azure. So okay, so that's another woman. And then Grimes again. Okay, so I guess open relationship, real family values, nuclear family, very, very cool. Yes. Totally, godlike and having children, multiple children out of wedlock. Amazing. Cool. That he then doesn't take care of. Second child, blah, blah, blah. The name is Exa. Then a straight up named another kid with Grimes, Techno Mechanicus. His parents call him Tau. I'm so sorry. Techno Mechanicus. Just have a robot. Just buy a robot. Ridiculous. Anyway. He can't pay child support. The richest man in the world not paying child support because it's scumbag patriarchy, people. Oddly magical Brandy says, as a science nerd, I call the fascist sodium zinc. I call you a beacon of hope. Thank you. I don't understand that, but someone's going to need to explain it to me. Robert, thank you for your super chat. I'm going to tell you, fascists, you may be surprised the people in this world are getting organized. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Thank you. Quoting Woody Guthrie there. And Linda Martinson, always supporting, especially you, as always speaks the truth, keeps fighting, and good thoughts from Sweden. Thank you. The instructor gave out 5 subs on YouTube. Gobble those up. Thank you so much. Thank you for your super sticker, Fun P. Instructor says, I will call them Nazi for you. Indeed they are. I think they would be proud of it. Juan Morales, Wednesday was a great night. I will never see googly eyes in the same way ever again. Shout out to your husband. We forgot to ask for autographs. We like the pic, though. Oh, my God. You don't need our autograph. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting. And thank you, Bravo Needs Bacon, for cheering them bits over on Twitch. Paprika Dragon resubscribe. Pickle Hippie also resubscribe. 2 months strong. Appreciate you. There is more to get to. Oh, there's so much more. Wide. I must have been grinding my teeth all night. I just my jaw is fucking killing me. Let's talk about this. So, as we know, Donald Trump is flip-flopping on an issue he didn't really care about, in 2018, 2016, 2017, which is transgender people existing and living in the world. But because, as Michael Knowles of the Daily Wire said, the goal is to eradicate trans people from public life. That is what the Donald Trump administration is doing. As Elon Musk demonizes his own child who is trans, as people freak out, and Nancy Mace passes congressional bathroom bills targeting trans people. Oh, I mean, the first trans Congress member. As we've allowed and haven't fought back enough to support and stand with trans people, to normalize transness, to normalize people's humanity, to embrace people. As we haven't stood up, when there are hate crimes, like what happened to Sam Nordquist. As our political leaders have been too afraid that, learning pronouns is going to radicalize people. There really hasn't been a concerted effort, a vision, a united front to actually stand in solidarity with trans people. And you're seeing it now on the streets. You're seeing it in the same places you always see it, which is among the people, but not from our elected officials. And of course, Donald Trump cited an executive order banning trans people from participating in athletics from, I believe, college age or high school age on. And he had a lunch today with governors from around the country, which is bold, as if he still cares about them. And he was talking about his executive order that the NCAA complied with when it comes to barring trans people from participating in athletics. Basically, who are we barring? Like 4 people, 5 people, 6 maybe, out of thousands 2, 1, unclear. The wrong 1%, as Laverne Cox says. This is what happened, and I want you to know that the right is loving this clip. They think that Donald Trump looks masterful, that he is crushing it, that he's destroying the opposition. I want you to watch and see what you hear. And this is him speaking to the governor of Maine, Janet Mills, when it comes to whether or not Maine will enforce this ruling about barring trans people from participating in sports.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with the state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
Oh, okay. I want you to, there's 3 ways to look at this. One way is the dumb way. Do you think Trump crushed there? Did he crush it? Did he look strong? Nah. Are you there? Oh, you better be. Well, we're gonna, you better, otherwise you're not gonna get any federal funding. You're not gonna get any federal funding. You know what he looked like to me? He looked like a mob boss, straight up mob boss. So are we relishing in the fact that the federal government is threatening states with any kind of federal assistance unless they prevent one person from playing in a sport to their gender, in their gender? Like, what are we talking about? You're going to rescind aid for disaster relief, food assistance, education aid. You're going to rescind Medicaid access, Social Security benefits, infrastructure funding. You're going to rescind all of that because Maine wants to protect the one person or the 2 people that would like to play sports at the college level? Sure. That looks really strong to me. No, it looks petty and vindictive and mob-like. And the fact that the camera is zooming out and you see all the other governors just sitting there like kind of shook, like this is our leader. He's openly threatening all of us.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with the state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat, I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that.
Okay, you know what I see? I don't see a strong president. I see a fucking badass governor. I'll see you in court. She didn't mince words. She wasn't like, well, we will, I'll comply with state law and federal law, and I'll see you in court. I'll see you in court. Can we get more I'll see you in court governors in this country when it comes to standing up for trans people? And here's the thing. It's more than about trans people, right? Because there's a lot of people who are like, I don't know why we're making such a big deal about, trans people. Why are you, all the right wingers are like, why are you going to bat over like a man being able to play in a woman's sport? First of all, it's not that. So please correct that phrase. Second of all, this is about a power grab. This is about a strong man. This is about an executive that believes that there are no other branches of government, there are no other elected officials, that he, with 49% of the vote, gets to tell the rest of us what to do with our lives. Right? This is him saying, oh, I believe in states' rights when it comes to abortion. Ooh, but not when it comes to transgender athletes. So no, we're just going to call him on that. It's states' rights, man. And Maine does not want to comply with your executive order. So I'll see you in court. States' rights. Can we get a few more people saying this? Because it is about, if you give him this inch, he's going to take it all. Okay, well, it's not just about that. It's about, your disability access. We're not woke anymore, and so we think you should really rescind the any funding that you're giving to Maine's disabled population. Yeah. Or any programs that have to do with teaching American history, specifically around slavery. We're going to rescind all of the federal funding because you're actually teaching American history accurately. So we're going to get rid of funding for that. We're going to hold this funding over your head. We're going to blackmail you. We're going to extort you, and you have to be okay with that. It's not just about trans rights. Okay, that has always been the canary in the coal mine. That's always been the Trojan horse. That is why we step to that kind of hate, because we see it permeating everything and everyone. Okay? Very simple. So what I see is a badass bitch. That's what I see. I'll see you in court, mama. Mama. Meanwhile, though, you go on Twitter and everyone who's sharing this is Greg Price, president just destroyed Governor Janet Mills, right? Megyn Kelly tweeting, he's so strong. God, I love it. Benny Johnson, another Russian asset. Like, wow, he destroys. Charlie Kirk, look at the president destroying this. Nah, man. He's the president. This is a sign of weakness. Utter and total weakness. Number one, he's acting like a mob boss, which apparently you like. But number two, he's being petty. Now I see you in court. You think that's a strong man? Is strong? That's all. That's how everyone's reading this, guys. We're so cooked. The right is so horny for authoritarianism. Oh my God. Enter me, fascism. Enter me and my wife. Take my money. And that's Megyn Kelly, right? That's Benny Johnson. That's Tim Pool. These are the people who are paid to lie to their audiences, right? Because it's not them. They're making hand over fist money. They can pay their way out of all the cuts that are being thrust upon the rest of us. So painting that as strong is wild to me. The Maine Principals Association will continue to allow transgender women athletes to compete, saying that Trump's executive order goes against the state's Human Rights Act, per Maine Public Radio. Mills, in a statement on Friday after Trump's remarks, said the state will, quote, not be intimidated by the president's threats. Yep, that's what we need. She also said that if Trump tries to take away federal funding, her, quote, administration and attorney general will take all the appropriate and necessary legal action to restore that funding and the academic priority it provides. So his EO denies federal funding for schools that allow trans women or girls to play in capacities corresponding with their gender identity. I mean, this is really where the rubber hits the road, right? This is because, again, Maine's governor, let's get her name right, Mills, Governor Mills, she knows that it's a slippery slope. She knows it's not just about trans rights. She knows it's about immigrants. She knows it's about women. Because when you say, okay, I will comply with your EO about this, well, what about the next EO that says that all doctors who perform abortions should be extradited and should be punished? You have to give them up. You have to give up all of your undocumented immigrants. What about that? You have to give up your journalists who have reported accurately about me or have criticized me. You have to relinquish, I don't know, your state's taxpayer base to Elon Musk. You have to allow Elon to come in and restructure your whole statewide government. And if you don't, I'm going to threaten you to not give you any funds anymore. It is and always has been a slippery slope. It's always a Trojan horse. So this is the kind of resistance that we're talking about. I'll see you in court. And if not, I'll see you in the streets. Makes me so mad, man. Me being me, 24. Hi, Francesca. Loved your show on Wednesday evening. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me, for your hard work, and thanks for taking us to Zateo. Oh, yay. Someone else who was at the show on Wednesday. See, guys, next show, Pasadena, March 26th. Trey Crowder is going to be on the show, as well as James Adomi. And man, it's going to be so good. And God, I can't believe I haven't announced this. Okay, so not only am I in Sacramento on March 16th, Sunday, March 16th, but May 7th, I'll be at Cobb's Comedy with Matt. It's a big room, guys. Let's sell it out. San Francisco, Bay Area, and, the greater, the South Bay. Come on now, Peninsula. Get your ass up there. We're going to Cobb's. That is, I think it's a Wednesday, May 7th. Tickets are already up, the Cobb's website. So get excited for that. It's going to be so good. I did just want to share this last thing. I think two more things. God, what a show. God, there's so much to talk about. This is the point where I know people are like, are you going to do this every day? I was like, God damn it, I have to. One day. All right. Me being me is coming back to the show. Just Julia reminding us to smash that like button. Thank you so much, Cooking Edibles Dragon. Hypno Amber, you should have Riverboat Jack to talk about trans issues in politics and how she's growing her community. Okay. I love that. Benjamin Morrill, thanks for gifting a sub. Triangulum, thank you for becoming a new member. So this is a trans woman named Hunter Schafer who was denied a passport, was issued a new passport, but her gender was changed from female to male. Her sex, I guess, on this. She says there's let's just watch her video, because she posted this really incredible video about it where she explains what happened and why. And this is what we've been covering. This is the kind of stuff that's happening. This is what we say, the slippery slope. Trans issues aren't important, or they don't matter. Please explain to all of your uncles that going after trans people is simply the trial balloon to go after all people, no matter whether you're a union member, or you're a Black person, or you're someone with a uterus, or you are someone who is a public sector worker, or you're an educator. Whatever you are, this is part of going after you, or you're Muslim, or you're Jewish. This is all about going after everybody. Okay?
Hello, Internet. I don't really post much these days, but I had a bit of a harsh reality check today and felt like it's important to share with whoever is listening. So I'm sure most of us remember on, I think, the first day of Trump's presidency, he signed an executive order to declare only two genders recognized by the state, male and female, assigned at birth. And as a result of this, which I wrote down because I want to get it right, the Bureau of Consular Affairs has frozen passport applications requesting a gender marker change or renewals, or new applications with the gender marker differing from an applicant's gender assigned at birth. So my initial reaction to this, because our president, is a lot of talk, was I'll believe it when I see it. And today I saw it on my new passport mail. So now, to specify, I my gender markers were first changed in my teens when I first got my driver's license, and then passports following. All have been female since then. Hasn't really been a problem.
Now, I just want to name that she is an actress, and I don't know her. I don't watch Euphoria, so I guess she was in Euphoria. But I also don't know if she's a model. I don't know how like out she was, right? I don't know if she was more of a stealth trans, celebrity. Certainly, she's not as like vocal as Dylan Mulvaney. Things like this, like I'm just naming other famous trans people, but like, or Laverne Cox, right? Like, so, I didn't know she was trans. I don't really know who this person is, but this is what's happening to her. This is her story. She's a known person.
However, last year when I was filming in Barcelona, our car got broken into and my bag got stolen, and inside of that was my passport, which was supposed to last me up until my 30s. And so I got an emergency passport, which was very simple at the time. It's basically just a copy of my old passport, but temporary and only supposed to be used within the year. So as soon as I got back to the States, I had to get this fixed and get it replaced with a real proper passport, which I went to the Federal Passport Agency today in LA and did. I've had to do this one time before. No part of the process was different. I filled everything out just like I normally would. I put female. And when it was picked up today and I opened it up, they had changed the marker to male. And I'm not making this post to fearmonger or to create like drama or receive consolation. I don't need it, but I do think it's worth posting to sort of note the reality of the situation and that it is actually happening. And I was shocked. Because I don't know. I just didn't think it was actually going to happen. And like, I want to acknowledge my privilege, like not only as a like famous or like celebrity trans woman who is white and thin and can adhere to like contemporary beauty standards, and I can participate in all of that, and I pass, and it still happened. I never had my birth certificate changed. So this has led me to believe that I think the agencies who are in charge of passports and this sort of thing are now required to cross-reference birth certificates, or I don't know.
Okay, so that's what's happening with our federal tax dollars is they are cross-referencing birth certificates, and that's insane to me. That's insane that it's someone's job to go see who had their gender changed during this time and then deny someone their passport, or change their passport based on that. Just wild. I want to get to the end because it's long, but it's good.
Make life a little harder. Personally, I haven't tested it out yet. I'll find out next week when I have to travel abroad for the first time with my new passport. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna come along with having to out myself to like Border Patrol agents and that whole gig much more often than I would like to or is really necessary.
So this is really key that she's gonna. When do you show your ID, guys? When do you ever show your ID? You show your ID usually when you're dealing with some type of authority, when you are going through the airport or you are going through customs, or, you know, you do have any kind of encounter with a police officer, you will show them your ID usually. And at that moment, if your presenting gender does not match the gender on your ID, number one, they're either going to think that it's fake or that you are not who you say you are, or possibly worse, they're going to punish you for being trans. You don't think it happens? It happens every damn day. Folks are at risk. Trans people are at risk. They are far more at risk than cis people when it comes to violence, and especially wielded from people in positions of authority, police officers, border patrol agents, on and on and on. Okay? It could be anybody. It could be anybody. And also, these could be folks who aren't necessarily out to their family, to their friends, to their employers. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the amount of leverage that someone who now knows their, gender at birth can wield over them, and these are often people in positions of authority, that is terrifying. That is a recipe for even more abuse, aggression, exploitation, and all of the things that we know the trans community is already facing and has already faced. So I just, she's doing an incredible job of saying, look, I am privileged, all these things. I'm a celebrity, but even she will face, she'll have difficulty in when she's, going around with a passport that says male on it.
And this is just my personal circumstance. And thinking about other trans women who this might also be happening to, or other trans people, the list only gets longer as far as the intricacies that come along with the difficulty that this brings into real life shit. This is getting very long, but I just want to say, trans people are beautiful. We are never going to stop existing. I'm never going to stop being trans. A letter and a passport can't change that, and fuck this administration. And I don't really have an answer on what to do about this, but I feel it was important to share.
So there she says, we're not going anywhere. We're not going to stop existing. And I appreciate that. And she is, it's very funny that as an actor or just as a person speaking out about this, she has to say I'm not trying to do a thing. I'm not trying to go viral. I'm not trying to, make it a big deal. I'm not trying to make this about me, but this has happened to me. So all I'm trying to tell you is that it's real. It's happening. It's going to make my life harder. I'm not saying I'm a victim here, but also she is. So it's amazing in this day and age when it's we have everyone who speaks out upon on behalf of the community that they're from, or gets real at all about being, or gets vulnerable. I mean, it's look, I'm not a big Selena Gomez fan, but who cares? She was crying, whatever. And then the right has to go nuts on her. Oh my God, she was crying. So again, especially if you have any amount of celebrity, it's the right loves to dunk on you, mostly because they have zero celebrities, mostly because Scott Baio can't cry on command. Anyway, y'all, trying to get a handle on some of these commenters. Going buck wild over here. Hit me up if you want a mod in addition to our beautiful Todd. Before we bounce for the week end, we got to talk about Sean O'Brien. Okay. The bad Sean, good Sean Fain. I mean, better Sean. Let's be real. Not so good Sean O'Brien. And Sean O'Brien is the president of the Teamsters. Sean O'Brien famously spoke at the RNC for Donald Trump's RNC and kind of gave a pro-worker message on a very hostile stage, in very hostile terrain. And back then, you could make the case that, okay, he knows there are some Teamsters who are MAGA and voted Trump. He's making this play. He's trying to get, a little bit of an agreement from the Trump administration to actually do right by workers, even though it's an administration bankrolled by a bunch of oligarchs and who are deeply anti-worker, Elon Musk. Maybe there's something to that, right? He was making a play. But a month into this administration, it is so clear how unserious the Trump administration is about protecting workers' rights, about actually expanding access to unions. They don't care, right? They want to make our workforces even more precarious, even more desperate. They are not serious about any of it, right? They're gutting out the Department of Labor. They are obviously obliterating any cases that Elon and Tesla or SpaceX had before the National Labor Relations Board. They rendered the National Labor Relations Board ineffective, unable to function, because they fired one of the top officials on it, and that board can now no longer see cases through, which must be very exciting if you are Amazon or Starbucks, or Microsoft, or any of the other companies that might have had business before the National Labor Relations Board, right? So this is a deeply anti-worker administration, and that has been borne out by this and more details that I'll get into in a little bit. But here is Sean O'Brien, who straight up on Fox News in the month of our Lord Elon Musk, making the case that he doesn't know whether what Donald Trump is doing is anti-constitutional, whether rescinding the powers of Congress to legislate or to, have the power of the purse, so to speak, or to make good on the contracts that they already promised. He doesn't know whether that's unconstitutional.
The president came in, and he didn't come in subtle, that's for sure. And there's
I've never known him to
there's
be
a lot of
subtle.
controversy on that. Look, we don't want to see anybody get laid off. We don't want to see anybody losing their jobs. But he thinks he's within his right. There are court proceedings, and ultimately the courts are going to decide whether what he's doing is lawful or not. I know that there is a lot of fat in the government he's trimming, and I don't think people are opposed to that. And look, I tell people all the time, let's take a look at the 101st day and where we're at that point in time.
Right.
The president.
I mean, he's like, this is just like, it's like a pig at a roast, just like rubbing his own belly in salt. You know what I mean? They're like, oh no, I'll get myself all rubbed up for you. You sit, you relax. I'm gonna do the dry brine myself, I'll get myself ready for the slaughter. No. I'll prime myself. Don't you worry. I'll take a deep marinade, I will definitely. We got this. We got the butter. We got the salt. Let's go. I prime myself. I mean, that is what he's saying. He's like, oh, we'll see 100 days from now. 100 days from now, the federal workforce is going to be obliterated. Do you stand with your brothers and sisters at these public labor unions or not? Do you stand with them? They're calling on all of labor to stand with them. Public sector workers are calling on all of labor to be in solidarity as they are facing illegal firings and cuts. Do you stand with them? No, you don't. You don't, because you are priming yourself to be slaughtered, to be gobbled up by this anti-worker oligarchy. And you're very excited, as I said on John's show the other night, to be the ones building the robots on Elysium, right? Which is a very good reference, and everyone needs to watch the movie Elysium, if only for Diego Luna cameos, which is why I watch it. But in this same interview, he also says that right to work laws are okay, which is amazing. I mean, it's just like, okay, the thing that's undermined the modern labor movement, right to work laws, like you're okay with that? But not only that, there's been a lot of bones made about the idea, well, okay, but Trump's labor secretary is actually kind of good. Maybe Trump's labor secretary will be good. Chavez de Remer, she had her hearing this week, but it was kind of, interestingly, it was the one hearing where Republicans grilled her because they don't like well, they don't like women. They don't like women of color, but they also don't like anyone who's going to stand up for workers. And a lot of people were like, well, maybe, she supports unions. She supports the PRO Act. No, she doesn't. She, in fact, walked that back during her hearing. So let's dig in. Members of the Senate committee grilled Labor Secretary designate Lori Chavez DeRemer about her past support of pro-union legislation, her position on raising the federal minimum wage, and her willingness to disagree with President Trump. Democrats sought assurances during the nominees' confirmation hearing that if confirmed, Chavez DeRemer would protect private data held by the Department of Labor. Again, that's being accessed by Doggy. Republican members of the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Senate Labor and Pensions asked if she's still backed a bill that would have made it easier for workers to unionize, the PRO Act. Union leaders have described Chavez DeRemer, a former Republican member of Congress from Oregon and former mayor of a small city on the edge of a liberal-leaning Portland, as a friend of organized labor. But workers' rights advocates questioned whether she would be able to uphold that reputation in an administration that has fired thousands of federal employees. Senator Bill Cassidy, a Republican from Louisiana who chairs the committee, opened the hearing by saying that Trump administration had the opportunity to enact a pro-American agenda. He said business owners were concerned about Chavez DeRemer's past support in Congress of the Protecting the Right to Organize Act, the PRO Act. A section of the PRO Act would have overturned the right to work laws that give employees the right to join a union in their workplace, that give employees the right to refuse to join a union in their workplace. In other words, you don't have to join the union even though your workplace is unionized, right? Usually that helps unions where kind of it's a solidarity thing. It's a, we all pay dues. This is a unionized workplace. If you're going to work here, you join the union, because we can't have, it weakens the unions. It weakens our ability to negotiate, to bargain, and our overall working conditions when, let's say, half of the employee base refuses to join the union. That's what a right to work law allows, is for that half of the workforce, or a third or most of it, to say, no, we don't want to join the union. Not most of it. You have to have a majority to even, actually have a union in the first place. She described the proposed law as imperfect, so she's walking away from the PRO Act. When Cassidy asked her if she still supported it, she declined to give a yes or no answer. Quote, "I do not believe the Secretary of Labor should write laws. It would be up to Congress to write the law." Oh, nice one. Vermont Independent Bernie Sanders, the committee's ranking member, asked Chavez DeRemer if she would be a rubber stamp for the administration or stand with workers. She said, "If confirmed, my job will be to implement President Trump's policy vision. And my guiding principle will be President Trump's guiding principle, ensuring a level playing field for businesses, unions, and most importantly, the American worker." Yeah. This bitch ain't standing for workers. I'm sorry. My goal is to enact President Trump's policies. What about precedent? What about protecting workers' information? What about the right to organize? What about the no, it's Trump. It's Trump. Pressed by Republican senators, Chavez DeRemer said she no longer supported the part of the bill that curtailed the ability of workers in a unionized workplace to opt out of membership. Exactly. So she's walking away from the important part of the PRO Act, which is getting rid of the right to work laws. So now she's like, no, I support right to work. So you no longer support the aspect of the PRO Act that would have overturned states' right to work laws? Senator Rand Paul asked. Yes, sir. So, okay, she's got a very clear answer when saying if she supports right to work laws. What I'm trying to tell you is, if it's that this was Sean O'Brien's little, example of how Donald Trump's actually going to be pro-labor, because you have this woman who used to be pro-labor. She's not. She's walking away from that. If this is what she's saying in the confirmation hearing, imagine what she's going to do once confirmed. Her voting record, again, as a congresswoman, during her one term, earned her strong union support. Some political observers surmise that Trump picked her as his labor secretary as a way to appeal to voters who are members or affiliated with labor organizations. She's the daughter of a Teamster member. If confirmed as secretary, Chavez DeRemer would be in charge of the Department of Labor's nearly 16,000 full-time employees and a proposed budget of $13.9 billion for now, in fiscal year 2025. She would set priorities that impact workers' wages, ability to unionize, and health and safety, as well as employers' rights to fire employees. Good God. But it's unclear how much power Chavez de Remer would be able to wield as Trump's cabinet moves to slash U.S. government spending and the size of the federal workforce. During his first month in office, the president froze trillions of dollars in federal funding and offered buyouts to most federal workers. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think she'll get confirmed, because if she's like, oh, whatever Trump says goes, that's all they need. They need blind loyalty. It's loyalty to him, not to the American people. The answer shouldn't be, how do you serve the president? The answer should be, how do you serve the American people? That's it. So, bye-bye. Bye-bye any hope of being a pro-worker president. Thank you, Dark Dragon, for becoming a member. The instructor says, just like the Department of Education, HUD is getting ready to fire employees. No need for representatives for these departments. Where you at, doggy? Rachel Atwood, F. Charlie Baker for his cowardice at the NCAA. Is that the head of the NCAA? Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here. Johnny 718 Bravo. He's a dumber version of Biff Tannen. Who are we talking about again? Which one? Trump? Oh, yeah, he's super Biff. He's worse than Biff. William McGregor, Trump is encouraging Boeing to rush the completion of the new Air Force One. Finally, some good news. No. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. That's going to be exciting. Thank you, Grumpy Dragon. No, you rock. Thanks for your super chat. Thank you, PB, for becoming a member. Appreciate you. Thank you, Triangulum, for becoming a member. Thank you again. Over on Twitch. Paprika Dragon. Did I already say that? No. Hello, lovely scientist. Thanks for resubscribing. 1 year. Happy birthday to you. Juliana, thank you for subscribing. Tier 1 and Tuba Lemon also subscribed over on Twitch. Guys, that has been a Frantastic Friday with you, with me, with our hopes, our dreams, our anger, our rage. Make those calls to your Congress people. Write those letters. Go to those town halls. Find your people. You're not in this alone. We are all in this together. And I will see you on Tuesday for another amazing show. Wait, let me find my outro. Bye-bye.